लंदन में जो बच्चे टीचर्स की रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, यूएस में जो करते हैं, कहाँ पे हम गलत हो गए और व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स दैट वी नीड टू डू टू
So I noticed the culture and the respect they give to teachers there.
yeah
The same respect should be given here as well.
AI bubble, or do you think the AI is here to stay?
I feel the AI revolution is now unstoppable. I also feel that currently companies are in control of the AI. But eventually AI will evolve to such a level where AI will be in control of the companies.
One student which comes from outside to India for studying, I think we are sending 25 students outside.
I think some of the most brilliant minds come from Bihar. So if you see the IAS, the IPS, especially people in the services, they all come from Bihar. For every child graduating out of my university should feel that, okay, this is a university that gave me the talent, this is the university that made my life, this is the university that gave me that opportunity.
Right.
So the satisfaction in that student as well, not only within me. What is the harm in failure? You fail, it's okay. Why should you make it such a big deal?
True.
You try something else, you again fail, you try something else, you will succeed.
I think that's the vision that we are headed towards in the upgrad school of tech. कि ये top 1% techies, top 2% of the techies of the world को अगर हम बनाएंगे, and I believe this is the last opportunity, because ये अगर निकल गया, we are heading towards AGI.
We are lost.
We are lost. हेलो एवरीवन, आज का जो ये कन्वर्सेशन हम रिकॉर्ड करने वाले हैं इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी वेरी स्पेशल. आप आजकल इफ यू लुक अराउंड यू बी ऑलवेज हियरिंग अबाउट द एआई न्यूज. एआई के बारे में लोग कह रहे हैं कि एआई जॉब्स ले रहा है, बट एट द सेम टाइम एआई की कंपनीज भी बन रही है. एट द सेम टाइम एआई एजुकेशन में हेल्प भी कर रहा है और लोगों को एजुकेशन में इसकी वजह से डिसरप्शंस भी देखने को मिल रहा है. इन सारी चीजों के बीच में last few months or year, if I go and talk around, if I go any university, I go to any conference, I'm in India or abroad, everyone has connoted fear around the AI कि AI जो है वो jobs ले लेगा, चीजों को disrupt कर देगा. And then I have been following a person who have slightly contrary view on it, who is relating AI with spirituality, and he feels कि अगर AI सही तरीके से हम use करें, then it might lead to the utopian world. So hello everyone, please help me welcome Dr. Ajeenkya ADY Patil sir. So thank you for your time. मुझे पता है सर आपका टाइम काफी ज्यादा बिजी है, आप मगलब करते रहते हैं मल्टीपल चीजों में, एक नहीं कई सारी चीजें आप करते हैं. The world knows about DY Patil brand, Ajeenkya DY Patil brand, पर मुझे लगता है
so to start with that statement, no busy man is ever busy for anyone. So let me start with that. So I'm not busy.
I think it's very, very kind of you. But sir, while I have been all around, right, and we have been talking about Ajeenkya DY Patil, everybody knows in the country right now. But most of the time that I'm talking to the students and the parents, they have been very curious about कि ये जो Ajeenkya DY Patil में Dr. Ajeenkya हैं, would like to know a little more around it. So people in this industry already know you well. But आज की जो Gen Z है, जो 18 साल से 25 साल की है, जो अभी शायद हायर एजुकेशन में मूव ऑन कर रही है, अगर आप अपने शब्दों में थोड़ा इन जेनजी को बताना चाहें दैट हु इज डॉक्टर अजिंक्या, आई थिंक दैट विल बी अ गुड स्टार्ट फॉर आवर कन्वर्सेशन.
I think that's a very difficult question you asked me, because to speak about yourself is a big challenge. But coming from a legacy of educationists, starting with my grandfather, my father, me, so education and healthcare is in our DNA. So I never wanted to be an educationist to start with.
Oh, okay.
So my intention was always to be a scientist,
okay,
to work in the fields of discovery,
okay,
to do research,
okay,
and to work in areas which would lead to greater development of the humankind.
Okay.
So since being a young man, I've always thought of inventing things, doing things differently, and कुछ हटके करना है. So but when I grew up, I perhaps didn't have the environment to excel in those areas, because coming from a traditional family, my father also said that you have to get involved with the work, and he was a very strict father. We had a very strict upbringing, so so I got pushed into this sector. I'm not complaining, I'm very happy where I am, because whatever I wish to do as a young boy, I think I'm now fulfilling partially through my students and the ecosystem that we have created. So to give my sort of identification is more like a scientific and research oriented person. Also very spiritual, because I believe a lot in the spirituality around us, and basic curiosity for life. So I feel that I want to just not create centers of excellence in terms of creating wealth for people or creating profit centers, but creating meaningful, impactful uh, decisions that affect society at large.
जी.
And I feel because of the tech revolution and
Have you stayed in Bihar because your father was a governor there? कौन सा जगह sir? You were in Patna?
Yes, I was in Patna. In fact, I visited many parts of Bihar. So
Okay.
I'm closely associated. I have a lot of friends also in Bihar, and I think some of the most brilliant minds come from Bihar. So if you see the IAS, the IPS, especially people in the services, they all come from Bihar. So Bihar has a great legacy of education-centric people. So we have great respect for that state, and I was very happy when my father was the governor there.
Yeah.
But before he was governor, he was also a farmer. So basically, he was a son of the soil. So very attached to the bhumi. So he's a man who actually did work on the ground rather than just sitting in the office, because he was very practical in his decisions.
Yeah.
So as a governor, he had a great experience in looking at the sort of educational system in that state.
Yeah.
He brought about a lot of meaningful changes also in the state in terms of applying his expertise in the education sector. And today also, I still believe after so many years, many people come to me who have been associated with him there, and they said he made these changes, he did that, and how it impacted people. So some great experience, Bihar, Tripura, West Bengal as well. So yeah.
So sir, I want to just picture this. We all have our own share of our childhood experiences, but I want to picture, and many would be interested to know that, कि जब आपके पिताजी गवर्नर होते हैं एक जगह के, right? And you see that he's the one who is impacting a lot of things. How is the environment in the home? Or as a kid, how you were during the school times or the early college time while you were still in India, and you see that my father is creating such a huge impact across, both in government, both in the educational sector, both in the sector of the health, huge legacy, right? So how was your initial years? Like, when did you realize that, kuch to special hai mere mein, like, or did you used to feel that I'm different from the other kids because of the things which my father is doing, the kind of impact that he's bringing? Did you ever felt that your childhood was different from the other kids in the same school?
I don't think our childhood was very different from the other kids, because like I said, my father was very strict, so was my mother.
Okay.
So my upbringing was very firm. So we had a certain set of rules and regulations.
Or is it because they felt कि अगर वो strict नहीं होंगे, and because of the power and influence that they bring to the table, that might influence you in the wrong way? Was it deliberate?
मुझे नहीं लगता ऐसे. I just generally felt that they wanted to give us a very grounded upbringing.
Okay.
And humility was always ingrained in our DNA again. So my father used to say that the rise of your ego will be your collapse, and the death of your ego will be your true success. So that's always been his teaching. So one thing he always taught us is to respect people, be grounded, and always be humble. However, how much ever you grow, whatever you do, your feet should always be in the ground. So I think those solid values were inculcated. And he always had a desire to change society. He never worked for himself. He always wanted
पर ये बातें सर आपको स्कूल में ही समझ में आ गई थी? Sorry to interrupt.
देख रहा था उनको.
ये आपको कब लगने लगा? Like did Dr. Ajeenkya grew much earlier than the average kids in the country because he was seeing impact in the house?
So I guess you could say that partially you're right, because I used to, since a young boy, I used to accompany him.
How were you in school? Like, you were a studious guy, curious guy?
I was average.
Science?
Yes.
Science freak? What were favorite subjects?
I was a nerd. So
okay.
All my pocket money used to be exhausted on electronic items. So I used to buy these circuits from Lamington Road.
Something that you did with your pocket money. I think it's very fascinating.
So first time I was in the 3rd grade. That's when I got a kit from a company called Visa. There was a Visa kit company in Lamington Road.
Okay.
तो हम वहाँ जाते थे, वो kit लेके soldering करके we created that, and I created my first transistor radio. Wow. When I was in the 3rd grade, and I still remember my teacher put me on the bench and she made me stand up, and I played that radio and everyone clapped. So that was a great feeling of satisfaction, because tech was very new that time and nobody knew how to solder and put circuits together.
Yeah.
So that's something that I did, and all my energy I spent mostly on tech. तो पढ़ाई बहुत करता था, बाहर से किताबें लाता था, लाइब्रेरीज में बैठता था, कहीं पे भी I think I got a realization at the age of about 14-15 when I was in the 9th 10th grade. We used to live opposite the ocean, and I used to look into the ocean and the stars.
जी.
And I used to always feel ki why we are here. If we cannot do something meaningful or impactful, what is the purpose of your life? If you're just going to earn money, you're going to earn wealth, and you're going to be successful, but unless you have a meaningful, impactful impact on people, your life will not really be fulfilled. And I got this from within. I don't know, perhaps I was in the company of a lot of saints because Pitaji used to go to a lot of religious places. सारे मंदिरों में हम जाते थे, संत हमारे घर आते थे, और बहुत बड़े बड़े संतों को मिल चुका हूँ, उनके आशीर्वाद है, तो कहीं से स्फूर्ति उनसे ही आई होगी, बिकॉज एक छोटा बच्चा तो ऐसे सोच नहीं सकता. तो सम सीड वाज प्लांटेड एट अ वेरी यंग एज. ये पता नहीं कुछ पुनर्जन्म का था या संतों के सहवास में रह के ये कुछ ऊर्जा हमारे में आ गई. और एंड आई फेल्ड, अंतर्मन से एक इच्छा होती थी कि अच्छा करना है, अच्छा करना है. गरीबों को भी देखता था तो बड़ा दुख होता था. दैट केम आउट ऑफ क्यूरियोसिटी रियली. And I traveled a lot with my father. I accompanied him everywhere. So I saw a struggle. It was a struggle for him. Okay. Because 89 से 1979 से वो कोशिश कर रहे थे प्राइवेट एजुकेशन एस्टैब्लिश करने की. और तब तो खाली VJTI, IITs ये इंस्टीट्यूट्स थे, और प्राइवेट एजुकेशन में इट वाज अ फूल हार्डी डिसीजन टू सॉर्ट ऑफ, पीपल यूज्ड टू थिंक इज अ लिटरली यू आर फ्रॉम द विलेज, अम्बाप के गांव से तुम आ रहे हो और एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट शुरू किया, वो भी इंजीनियरिंग. ये तो बहुत टेक है, साइंस है, पढ़े लिखे लोग करते हैं, आपके जैसे देहाती गाउठी लोग कहाँ से ये सब करें. सो ही फेस दैट एंड आई सॉ दैट एट अ वेरी यंग एज. सो दैट हैड अ वेरी डीप इम्पैक्ट ऑन मी, एंड इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट ही नेवर फेल्ट ह्यूमिलेटेड. ही सेड नहीं, करना है करना है करना है करना है, एंड ही केप्ट एट इट. Okay. And he had a very good political career. He gave up that entire career. And he only got into the education sector. And he got the final breakthrough in 83. And that breakthrough was given by the then Chief Minister, ADY Patil, who was his political rival. Okay. So I'm talking of the leaders also of that time. That they said, okay, ADY Patil, they used to call him, I call him Dada, that you are doing something good for the state of Maharashtra. And the real issue was that a lot of students were going to Karnataka because that time Manipal was there, and a lot of the Maharashtra boys were going to Karnataka. So they wanted to make Maharashtra as an educational base. And he said that the people of Maharashtra should not be deprived of education. They should not have to go to different states to get this education. And that's how the first permission was given for the colleges here. So there are people like Patangrao Kadam, my father, Karad. So these were the pioneers during that time who actually fueled the moment of education. So they were very interesting times, but they faced a lot of challenges. And I saw those challenges because there was a certain elite. If it is, I'm not diplomatically correct. I speak my mind out.
तो मुझे लगता है सर प्रेशर तो रहा होगा आपके ऊपर बिल्कुल भी, बिकॉज यू हैव टू लिव अप टू द एक्सपेक्टेशंस ऑफ योर डैड. और सिर्फ पेरेंट्स की नहीं, सोसाइटी भी आपसे एक्सपेक्ट कर रही होगी.
प्रेशर तो बिल्कुल था, बिकॉज यू हैव टू फिल इन द शूज ऑफ अ मैन हु हैज डन सो मच फॉर सोसाइटी. सो नॉट ओनली ऑन मी, माय ब्रदर्स आल्सो. आई हैव ब्रदर्स इन कोल्हापुर एंड माय ब्रदर इन मुंबई आल्सो. सो ऑल ऑफ अस वर अंडर प्रेशर. Because even though we expanded, we set up institutions, we multiplied greatly with what my father left us. But even for several years after that, almost a decade, we used to always be referred to as DY Patil's children. कि DY Patil का बेटा आ गया. And sometimes used to feel कि भाई we are working, हम भी काम कर रहे हैं, but my identity or our identity was always linked to my father's identity. So it was tremendous pressure to fill those shoes, because people used to not judge us by our ability, but judge us by whose children we were. So that took some time to overcome until people realized that okay, these guys can also on their own do it.
कभी आपको ये irritate भी किया कि क्यों मैं काम कर रहा हूँ? और
बिल्कुल बहुत हुआ, because sometimes people used to treat us with disrespect कि ठीक है, just because he's DY Patil's son, let me entertain him. And I started very young. Like I said, I started at 12, 13, 14, 15. I was active. So I used to go as a young man. तो ये बच्चा आ गया हमारे से बात करने के लिए. But so I felt irritated because I felt that I'm really trying to talk about the future. I'm trying to change the environment. And the people sitting in front of me do not understand the reality of a changing world. They were very fixated in their domains कि ये करना है और ये क्या बकवास कर रहा है. So we were talking of the internet that time, we were talking of technology that time, we were talking of computers that
जी
time, और ये
जी
समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा था
जी
लोगों को तो
सर एक चीज मुझे सबसे लाइक फॉर द लास्ट couple of weeks we have been studying around your profile. एक जो चीज मुझे सबसे ज्यादा स्टैंड आउट करी वो ये था जब आप अभी बातें कर रहे हैं कि आपके पास ऑलरेडी स्टेज सेट किया हुआ था, ऑलरेडी यूनिवर्सिटीज थी, ऑलरेडी कंपनीज थी, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें हम कर रहे थे. देयर वाज नॉट नो नीड फॉर यू, बट आई थिंक यू स्टूड आउट और आपने अपने नाम से एक बिल्कुल स्क्रैच से यूनिवर्सिटी खोलने का सोचा. इट वाज अजिंक्य ADY पाटिल जो अभी पुणे में है. लाइक व्हाट मोटिवेटेड यू एंड व्हाई यू हैव टू डू दिस? बिकॉज आपके पास ऑलरेडी यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, पेरेंट्स उसको बड़ा करने की वजह why you went ahead to create your own, and was this irritation which was playing at the back of mind कि मुझे खुद we have to make.
So I think in every family legacy you have to decide what your future holds.
जी.
So as the families grows there'll be different styles of operations. Everyone may be smart in their own domain,
right,
and they would like to operate in their own specific
जी.
way. And everyone was working fine, traditionally very happy, we were growing, the growth was excellent, all the brothers were doing excellent. I always however felt that I want to do something different.
जी.
Different in terms of innovation, different in terms of the way education is taught, different
जी.
in terms way the infrastructure is created. So कुछ हटके करना है.
जी.
So I had always had that feeling.
जी.
And then
जी.
I wanted to take that sort of I don't have the words to express it, but also if I fail, I'll fail with my name. If I succeed, I'll succeed with my name.
जी.
So that's one of the reason I wanted to differentiate myself from what I was currently doing. Because we wanted to start cutting edge programs, the way
जी.
teaching was done, the way the classrooms were designed.
जी.
There was a lot of thought behind what I wanted to do.
ठीक
So
है.
essentially what my father went through in the 70s, I
जी.
went through in the 90s. Because I felt I was in a box system where
जी.
engineers are being graduated, engineers are going out. So there was no real innovation happening.
जी.
There were
जी.
degree giving sort of institutions
जी.
where degrees were given, they were getting employed. Most of them were getting meaningful employment because the tech revolution was going on. So there was nothing wrong with that system. But true innovation was not coming out. And I think now that's even more relevant because we've realized we were just supplying manpower to the world. We were not really creating our own IP. We were
Right.
not really creating our own patents
जी.
or our own technologies. Most
जी.
of the technologies are now owned by Western powers.
Right.
And we were just supplying the fuel to sort of increase those technologies.
Okay. So I'll take a step back from there. In the early years, you were like science freak. You're making the transistors. You're making the radio frequencies neat and. But then I see when you took the steps for your higher education, I see that you have tried to diversify yourself. You have done MBA from Richmond College in the UK, right? You were also there in the London School of Economics. Instead of picking a niche tech and deep dive, why did you think around, and has that to do with the business background that you come from, which allows you to understand the entire ecosystem well?
So I think it was more a decision based on what the people during that period were doing.
Okay.
कि जाना है.
I really like your honesty, sir. Because nobody accepts this and they always try to put a philosophical reason behind it. But I think that's very practical.
मुझे भी जाना है. तो I went with that intention. ऐसे जाएंगे, मजे करके आ जाएंगे. I'll have a good education.
Good.
That was. But when I went there, there was a lot of learning. So the learning was because you meet people from different cultures. You meet people from different geographies. You meet teachers, students who are so diverse.
Yeah.
There are white students, there were black students, there were Asians, Chinese, Koreans. So
most cosmopolitan culture.
So I mixed with that culture. So one thing was that the bubble that I was living in, that was shattered. Because when you feel you're privileged, you've done everything. We had achieved a certain amount of success even before that period. So I thought I knew it all. But when you meet people, then you realize that how very little you know. And there's so much to learn. So we had some people who were billionaires. We had some people from the royal family, and they were coming on cycles. They were coming in taxis. So humility is also something that I learned there. I learned that diversity, how people are unique in their own characteristics. So सीखने बहुत मिला. So I absorbed all that culture. And in a sense that I said, okay, these kind of things should also come back to India. because the way the teachers were teaching. So there was.
So anything specific if you can recall which had a big impact on you, which you feel कि वो चीज मैं अजिंक्य ADY पाटिल में भी absorb करना चाहता हूँ, लाना चाहता हूँ.
So I think the teachers there are extremely committed when they are teaching. So it's not a student-teacher relation. It's rather they are like friends, and the environment is very open to sort of teaching. So there's no fear of examinations. There's no fear of performance. The fear is sort of diminished because I think it's a very friendly, facilitating system. So where you go with the flow. So that's something that I learned because we come from a very rigid system जहाँ हम सबको सर बोलते हैं, एग्जाम के लिए पढ़ाई करनी है, परीक्षा देनी है. So there's tremendous pressure on the student. I didn't feel that pressure.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I learned, that the culture is very different in terms of how they teach you. And I feel that can be imbibed in many of the campuses here. Because why should there be a gap between the student and the teacher? The teacher should almost be like a friend. Of course, we have a Guru Shishya Parampara. So we are brought up in that manner that we respect our teacher, we obey them, we follow them. But then the standard of the teacher also should be that high that he deserves that respect. So it's a give and take relation. So I feel students equally have to be respectful as much as the teacher. So that dynamic has to change here. Because until we have that teacher padayega, bachche padhenge, teacher padayega, bachche padhenge. I don't think that should be the case. It should be an interaction between the two parties like they're one. And they come to a campus to learn something, not just to give an exam, not just to prove something to someone. So a lot of changes need to be brought into the system. It's not easy because culturally also it makes a difference. But that's something that I imbibed in the West. So they're very open to sort of acceptance. Student will also say something. So teachers are very accepting of what the student will say. Whether he's right or wrong, that's not the question. But they'll hear him out. They'll listen to his point of view. So a child feels, okay, I'm being heard. So that's something which fascinated me because I'd never seen that in an Indian system. So
I think very strong point, and I would like to touch upon this, which is very relevant. It might be a little controversial, but I think we should talk about this. When we talk about the teachers, you rightly mentioned that teacher should be of a level that the student should respect. Unfortunately, and I think they are great teachers, and I feel all of them, they deserve respect, and I think everything that we do are all because of our teachers themselves. But unfortunately, in the India today, normally students have started realizing that teachers उनको कुछ सिखा नहीं रहे हैं. And I think that's the fact. And when I'm talking, I'll talk on the facts and the data. They say that school में कोई नहीं पढ़ा रहा है मुझे, तो इसलिए मुझे coaching जाना पड़ रहा है. The reason 1,000 crore coaching business is thriving because students and parents realize कि मैं अगर बच्चे को सिर्फ स्कूल में रखूंगा तो मुझे शायद आईटी या फिर
it's not a very easy answer. It's a complicated situation because what I noticed also in the West, I'll give you an example. I'd gone to meet a chairman of a large firm, American Express, and my appointment was there with him at a particular time, and another professor walked in at the same time, and the professor was ushered in first, not the businessman or the guy sitting at the right time and trying to feel he's the biggest guy there. The professor was ushered in first. So I noticed the culture and the respect they give to teachers there. The same respect should be given here as well.
True.
So if you expect something from a teacher or a professor, I think first you have to value what he's giving to the children. So I think it's also more a cultural issue. I think we have to learn to respect our teachers. Now teachers are the one who are creating these stories, whether mediocre, average or great teachers. But teachers are the one who are giving degrees to these students, who are giving them the ability. Many of them go to lead Fortune 500 companies. Many of them become unicorns. They create success stories. So, but where does the teacher remain? The teacher remains where he is. So teachers are neglected in my opinion. And also it's a cultural thing that we have to respect our teachers more than the business people here in the country. So first respect should be given to the people who mentor us. And that unfortunately is a cultural thing because we have to learn to value what these individuals are giving.
True, sir. I was just sort of intervene between. I was in Silicon Valley for quite some time where I was doing job. And there I feel anyone who has PhD, they are respected like the best.
Level. Correct.
Just best. That just, if anybody knows you that, hey, you are a PhD, you will just leave that chair and make you sit. And that's the level of respect they earn.
पहले मान सम्मान उनको देना चाहिए.
तो मुझे लगता है जब NP आया होगा then you would have got more validation.
Of
But like
course, of course.
ये learning was from the West when you went there, studied and
Not
came back. It was because of
necessarily. I
that.
think it's more practical. But of course, yeah, you learn so much because I visited Harvard, I visited Wharton, I visited Stanford, Babson. So with my father, we visited all the top Ivy Leagues of the world. We saw how they work, how they teach. But I think it's more practical.
Yeah.
Because what practical application is needed to really train that student is something which automatically comes within. You don't need any processes and systems to come to that conclusion. Like I spoke to you about that Vyapari on the street. He comes out when the practical situation is thrown against him, he automatically comes and innovates. So innovation in the education sector is very important.
Yeah.
So NEP has captured a lot of these things,
like
parallel entries, different entry points, allowing flexibility.
Ji.
But I still feel there should be more flexibility. Why should we stifle education? Education should be completely unshackled. Because okay, rules and regulations are good to follow. But at the end of the day, if your product is just based on rules and regulations and certain compliances, then you're working to fulfill those compliances. You're not working to fulfill the ultimate objective of the child. So the policies may say that these processes are there that gives a good quality, leads to a good product, etc. But when you're within certain matrices, you're not able to innovate. So you have to stick within that parameters and then only proceed that way. So I would feel that a lot of more changes need to be allowed, and then we can have some excellent talent coming into these institutions and teaching.
Sir, in the last few months, I've been talking to a lot of professors, in which few of the people have been the proponent of the NEP and the changes that has happened, and kuch logo ke strong opinion bhi the. I'll just try to hear your thoughts around that. So few of the people that I talked to, they were of the view कि जब आप बच्चे को बहुत सारे choices दे दोगे कि तुमको पहले ये भी कर सकते हो, ये भी कर सकते हो, वो भी कर सकते हो, and they feel that the student mind is not set that time to choose between the multiple options.
Correct.
As a professor, so as an institute, we are better positioned to know exactly what is right for a career. And if you give that choice in the hands of the students, he might do mistake, या फिर he becomes a jack of all trades. So हर चीज थोड़ी करेगा और कुछ सीख नहीं पाएगा. It will have more harm than the benefit that it brings to the table. So that's the opinion. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. What happens if you give all the choices in the hands of the students?
So that's one side of the spectrum. But what is wrong in giving choices? Suppose if I drink this coffee and I don't like it, and I give a choice of matcha.
Maybe the wastage of time?
I don't think so. Because eventually you will gravitate towards what you're good at. Eventually you will gravitate towards what your ability is. Eventually you will reach the goal that you really desire.
Maybe a little late, but better.
Perhaps.
You'll know the right goal.
There's nothing like late. I think end of the day you have to do what satisfies you.
Okay.
So if also you see in traditional families, people are pushed to become doctors, people are pushed to become engineers. Parents always put pressure कि तुमको engineer बनना है, तुमको doctor बनना है. ये pressure की आवश्यकता क्या? किसको artist बनना है, किसको software engineer बनना है. Everyone has different talents. Someone wants to be a fashion designer. He cannot be an engineer. So I think if those options are open, but at some stage at the university level, if he's exposed to these different sectors, see a fashion student might come in and he'll say, no, but the tech is also something that I can use in fashion. He may enter the tech sector. So I think these options, when they're left open, they also give an opportunity for the child to understand his own ability. Because they're not exposed to these abilities, they make up the decision. So once you're given the choices, then you have several choices to choose. And we are in the Instagram generation. So they're thinking quick. So they'll decide also quick.
I think it's very fair. And I think that's where we should head towards. Just because we are not confident that someone how will leverage their options, I think we forcing them कि तुमको ऐसा ही करना है because we feel that it is the good.
And also I'll ask one more very controversial maybe statement. What is the harm in failure? You fail, it's okay. Why should you make it such a big deal?
True.
You try something else, you again fail, you try something else, you will succeed.
Yes.
So I think, but the moment a failure comes to someone because he or she didn't choose the right field, or a decision was based on some peer pressure, or because what his friends are doing, or what the trend is, I feel it's not fair at all. So let the student try something that he really desires. First of all, we've been championing making Bharat a center of excellence for the knowledge systems of the world. Because we spend, I think, close to $60 billion in Forex, where students go outside and learn. These figures may probably be higher now. I'm referring to figures which I was aware of. So And it's a given fact that the engineers that we produce, that the doctors we produce are fueling the economies of the rest of the world. So our education system has to be good. There has to be something good that the West is absorbing these students. तो कुछ तो हमने अच्छा किया है ताकि हमारे ऐसा Fortune 500 companies lead कर रहे हैं. You see all the top execs, they're Indians. So there is some reason behind that. It's also, of course, the ecosystem, because they get that ecosystem to operate and excel. That's the secondary part of it. But the basic fundamentals of Indian education system are excellent. And I feel that should be capitalized for the rest of the world. So there should be a reverse brain drain, not in terms of our students coming here. I'm also saying there are many countries which lack this education. They can come to India to study. They can see our ecosystem. We have such a diverse ecosystem. So because we have had some solid success stories, I think India should market itself as the knowledge capital of the world. But for that, we'll have to make a lot of policy changes, because foreign students coming in, allowing the flexibility. So I think that is a opportunity for India, which we are not looking greatly, because there is a huge market. And I'm not talking of the Western market. There are markets around us. Southeast Asia is there, the SAARC countries are there, the African nations are there, where there is lack of education, and the Indian education system is so solid. So we should export our Indian education abroad. And I think some thought should be given to that in terms of how we can attract students from other countries to come. It's happening, but it's happening at a small level. So how you see the rush for Ivy League colleges in America, people are rushing, they're giving the exam. A similar situation can happen in India. But it'll take some time until we change the whole ecosystem. I'm not looking for them to take up jobs here. But when Indian students are going and fueling their economies, they can again go back to their nations and do the jobs there. So like African countries, for example, if they get talent, engineering talent, doctors, they can set up their own ecosystem. Their entrepreneurial skills can take those nations to a different level. So we are working towards the development of the globe. So I'm not talking of them just taking jobs here. Because maybe the opportunities don't exist here. And we already have a very large population. Now also here I feel the industry has to play a very key role here. Because if you see in the West, especially America or developed nations like Germany, the UK, the corporations take a lot of interest in academic institutions. So the grants that come into these universities are huge. They're in millions. So they sponsor buildings, they sponsor laboratories, they sponsor research facilities. So industry is actually on the campus. Whereas here it's a very superficial arrangement. I am only a placement sort of a center for the industry. So we have some collaborations with industries, but they are not as meaningful as how you find them in the West. You would not find a building, say, sponsored by some industrialist in a university campus. So we have 1,000 universities. Out of 1,000 universities, how many industrialists have sponsored buildings in these universities? I would imagine at least half should have those centers. If 500 universities have those centers. So that takes the load of the financing for a educational institute. It offers opportunities in terms of facilities, and students get introduced to real industry experience. Because say if I would take the example of a Mahindra or a Tata, great businesses, if they set up a center, and I'm sure they must have, don't just quote me on the names, but there are many industries who are working with the universities, but they would understand what kind of talent they need. They would set up the centers in such a way that they only create talent which fuels their industry. So they're already industry ready. We've been talking industry ready, but industry ready hai nahi. Because when they go actually to the industry, they're not able to achieve that output. So the industry participation is something very important in terms of funds coming into the university sector. And grants can come from governments, grants can come from many other places. But unless the industry part, because they are the employers, end of the day, they are absorbing. So if you go to a campus and say, okay, I want my engineer to have these 10 particular skills, this is how I operate. Universities can flex their programs in such a way that they're ready on day one. So this is something that has to happen. What happens in our case, the alumni is fairly young. See, we would say we are 40 years, 50 years old. So 50, 40 in an academic institution is a young life. So the alumni is first interested in earning wealth for himself by the time he gets settled. So I would see that cycle happening even in private universities. But it'll take maybe another 2 or 3 decades, because
Sure.
Students want to give when they have enough and they've done everything.
Yeah.
So our alumni is still very young.
Ji.
So they are still doing their achievements where they are.
Yeah.
But I feel the moment they cross that threshold of 55, 60 or that retirement cycle, they'll start giving back. So this trend you'll see in private universities. So good private universities will also attract good alumni money. It's a matter of time. But the movement just started after the 80s, 90s. So from the 90s to 26 is a very short period for giving. IITs are matured because now the alumni is growing. So private universities also, you'll see it's more of a demographic issue than anything else. So I feel defense sector will have a windfall in the future because you see so many things happening across the globe.
Yeah.
So I think that's a sector that needs to be strengthened. And I think our reliance on external technology has to be reduced. So we need a talent pool that will fuel this technological revolution, whether it's in the defense sector or space sector. Otherwise, we'll get lost because technologies are now getting proprietary. They're getting owned by specific companies. Sometimes due to geopolitical issues, we don't have access to those technologies. If you go back to the story of the Param computer that Dr. Vijay Bhatkar and our scientists did. So those kind of situations can arise. So do you want a Bharat tomorrow which is dependent entirely on some IP or some technology which we are reliant on foreign nations to give us? And at some point of geopolitics, if we don't have access to that technology, there can be total chaos.
Correct.
So in order for a nation to sustain, I think you have to be very buoyant, strong, and develop our own methodologies in terms of these technologies. So defense is a sector, if you see anywhere in the world, a country has become strong and powerful because of its defense might.
Correct.
So if we are powerful in that sector, I feel we'll get a lot more respect in terms of how people look at us. Also, that sector is booming. So, and I've always been thinking ahead of the curve. I don't think or go with the trend. Sometimes they say that the time for that idea has arrived. But I don't believe in that. I feel the time of that idea will arrive. Perhaps 10 other people will look at me and emulate and do the same. Then that idea will automatically arrive. For example, I'll give you a biotech department that we started. We started our biotech, which was the first private university to start a biotech department. So only Mumbai University had that. So that time I went to Mumbai University, studied the system. They had a fantastic department. And we took that idea. So we were struggling to get students. But today our biotech institute is full because there's such a huge demand. But I'm talking 20 years hence. So it took us a good 5 to 7 years for that sort of sector to mature. I think you have to think a little bit in the future as well.
And how do you see the private sector fail? Because I know there's a DRDO, there are the other government agencies who are actually hiring directly. But how is the private sector faring in the defense sector?
I think if we look at the American trend, we look at the Israeli trend, or we look at any other country which has evolved in its defense sector, the participation of private players is tremendous. Also, what happens, there's a lot of government funding given. Now, for example, if you see, today I met someone who was speaking about funding in DARPA. DARPA is the agency which develops tech for the US military and other areas. So they say out of the entire funding, only 10% or 8% succeeds. That's what he was telling me. But they're not accountable for the failures. They're only accountable for the successes. So that's the kind of money governments are putting into these organizations. So do we have that? वो जिगर है क्या हमारे में कि नहीं मैं पैसे डालूंगा, आई एम रेडी फॉर फेलियर, पर इसमें से एक दो प्रोजेक्ट्स ऐसे आएंगे जो कुछ अलग हो गए. So we have to learn from what these guys have done, whether they had the moon mission, whether they had technologies that they developed. So we are doing in our own way, but I feel somewhere our research and development funding has to scale up very quickly. So you see China first कहते थे कि नकल करके अकल आ गई इनको, नकल करके they have copied everything, they have reversed engineered. But after reverse engineering, they have developed better technologies. So there is no harm in learning from what the West has done or other countries. So we also as a nation have to evolve. So I feel again it's a issue where the whole ecosystem has to change, and it will change. It's happening. आज एक माहौल ऐसे हो गया, because if we don't change, we'll get lost. We'll be behind. So Atmanirbhar India. I'm a big supporter of AI. I feel the AI revolution is now unstoppable.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it's a bubble or
Hmm.
will it continue. I feel now we are on a trajectory where it's unstoppable.
जी.
So even if you try to prevent it, you cannot,
Hmm.
because it's reached those levels where now it's evolving at such a rapid pace. It's unstoppable.
जी.
I also feel that currently companies are in control of the AI. The top tech companies that you spoke of
Yeah.
are in control of the AI. But eventually AI will evolve to such a level where AI will be in control of the companies. So that's not too far away. And that flip will happen. And I always believe that AI learns from the greater good of humanity. So when you see अभी ये कमरे में हम हैं, यहाँ पे all people, normal people are nice people.
जी.
There are very few people who are evil or bad. They may be 1% or something. किसकी सोच विचार अलग होंगे. So what will the AI learn from? AI will learn from the general humanity. कि 99% लोग अच्छे हैं, 99 लोग% काम कर रहे हैं, अपनी मेहनत से अपना पैसा कमा रहे हैं. So AI will become an enabler of these people. So in a sense, I feel the whole governance structure of the world will change. Because one is transparency will be reduced to transparency will become very clear. You will not be able to hide anything. You will not be able to speak untruths, because everything will be out there. So it will enter all sectors of our society. One classic example I'll give you, like so many legal cases are pending in the high courts, the Supreme Courts, and sometimes they take 20 years, 30 years. 2 generations die also, and the decisions are not given. So now with tools like AI, at least they'll come up to the level where the judge can give a judgment.
The AI becoming a judge itself will also affect eventually.
Because the decision making will be purely based on arithmetic and reality. It will not be someone's emotions, bias, or fixing the system. So justice will prevail, justice will be given. So AI will come into all these sectors. So I am saying the positives of AI. What will happen? Corruption will be eradicated, because then you'll have blockchains coming into systems, whether it's your certificates, whether it's your transactions. Money transparency will come in. So there are lots of layers of AI which will help society, and especially in our country. What I worry is about the huge human population that we have. So historically, if we see, legislation never catches up with technology. Technology first evolves and then legislation catches up. So governments have to be very proactive in terms of legislation. Now this is also controversial. If India legislates that certain things will remain within the parameter, some other country may not. So unless there's a world consensus on where AI is heading and where its boundaries are, it will continue to evolve. So at this current situation, I feel we should use it as a tool to enhance the quality of our life, whether it's in the medical profession, whether it's in engineering, whether it is in the quality of our life, saving energy. Now the environment is also a big problem. So soon you'll have tools which will analyze processes which will allow us to live, to breathe better, eat better, the quality of the food will improve. So I'm looking at all these positives. Definitely there will be jobs that will be at stake. So that's a reality that you have to be ready for. But complete skills will not be lost. That time is still there. I feel it's still some time away till, robots and AI will completely replace human. And that stage will also come. But when that stage comes, then a universal basic income is what you and I will get. And the machines will be doing our work. That will be the future. So I think every technology has its pros and cons. So I think you very rightly pointed. There could be issues related to that. But that I feel will be a temporary problem. I don't think it will be a problem that will extend for too long. You may see that in the interim period where AI is evolving. Because eventually, like I said, 99% of the people are straight, they're clear. I don't think they would want to get into this polarization amongst people where it will create issues amongst each other. Everyone wants peace, everyone wants to live in harmony. So AI may cause that rift only temporarily, depending on the algorithms, like you said. But eventually the algorithm will also learn to such an extent that it will stop believing in something that is wrong. Because it will almost develop like a consciousness. And that's what I talk of a utopian world. यानी ये भेदभाव ही खत्म हो जाएंगे सारे. Because it will levelize everything. It will say that this is what it is. Your views, his views, their views. The right views are, this is how the world should be, a peaceful utopian world. So that stage will come. So I agree with you that in the short term, things can happen because let's face it, now the companies have become like monopolies today.
Yeah.
And they are controlling practically
Yeah.
every aspect of the world, which
Yeah.
we have no control over in
Yeah.
any case.
Yeah.
But a time will come where the AI will become far superior to the monopolies of these companies. And that's where a fundamental change will come in the way AI operates. And AI will 100% think of a better world. So religion, as we may look at it today, may also change in the future. Because how AI will affect it. I don't even want to get into tech now about these alien disclosures and things like that. But our whole concept of religion may shift. But eventually, I think AI will move to such a level that there'll be global governance. There'll be one global governance, which the AI will completely control. And it'll be hive minds working together. But anybody perpetrating violence, thinking against humanity, or harming the environment, or harming the earth, or doing any harm will be prevented by the AI. So I wouldn't rate it to minorities or majorities. It will be behavioral. So in a sense, I don't see even money existing in the future. It will be behavior based. So suppose I'm behaving well with you, you are behaving well with me, I may get certain points. And I think China has already implemented that. If you have a number of points, then you're allowed to travel in these privileged places. If your behavior is not good, you'll not be permitted in those areas. So that division will start. So it will be a division of how you behave in society, not on religion. This is my perception of how AI will evolve.
Okay.
So currently, of course, there will be a issue because currently I feel the narrative is controlled by the tech companies and what they decide. Even they may say it, they do, they may say they don't do it. We don't know. But that's even more now critical for us that we develop our own technologies. Because how can we only rely on technologies that are based out of our country? So unless we have our own technologies, I go back to my own original answer of defense and other areas. So our IP, our talent, our technology, including hardware, software, should all rest in our country. So that this monopoly spread across the world. Eventually it will all converge. But even the data center should be specific Indian. The data should be ours. So I think we are at a critical juncture where it's very difficult to predict what will happen. But I can see a trajectory where there'll be some turmoil, and after that turmoil, again, the positive spin will start. But you will face this. There will be some chaos in the short run.
Right. Just following on that, and I think that's where the role of university also comes in play. And I think that's where we are also doing with our partnership of Upgrad School of Tech with you, sir. I see in the hindsight, in the next, say, like 3 to 4 years, there will be only two types of high-level jobs in the space of technology, I believe. One, 97 to 98% of people will be the one who will be the consumers of AI. I will go and call it an AI generalist, where they are leveraging AI to build anything. AI को use करके code कर रहे हैं, AI को use करके applications बना रहे हैं, email लिख रहे हैं, PPTs बना रहे हैं, marketing कर रहे हैं, सारी चीजों में आप AI use कर पा रहे हो. And only 1 to 2% of the people are the one who are actually building these AI models. और मुझे लगता है ये as a country हमारे लिए काफी important है, because ये शायद सर लास्ट जनरेशन होगा जिसके पास ट्रू रियल वर्ल्ड वेल्थ कंपेयर टू बनाने का मौका है. क्योंकि सर जितने भी पिछले रिवॉल्यूशंस हुए हैं, एग्रीकल्चरल हो गया, इंडस्ट्रियल हो गया, डिजिटल रिवॉल्यूशन हो गया, उस सब में वी हैव बीन जस्ट फॉलोइंग व्हाट द वेस्ट डिड. लास्ट टाइम वी हैव बीन सेइंग दैट कि हमने खूब सारे सर्विसेज कंपनी बना दिए, बट एट द हैंड साइड वी आर जस्ट सर्विसिंग देम, वी आर नॉट बिल्डिंग दैट. आज के डेट में भी सर, अभी जब हम एआई की बात कर रहे हैं, तो पूरी दुनिया में जो एआई पे इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर रही है वो बस 4-5 कंपनीज कर रही है, और वो सबके सब यूएस बेस्ड है.
करेक्ट.
यूएस का ही जेमिनाई है, यूएस का ही ओपन एआई है, यूएस का ही एंथ्रोपिक है. जस्ट एंटायर वर्ल्ड, चाइना कुछ चीजों पे काम, डीपसीक के काम कर रहा है. इंडिया में लाइक वी आर टॉकिंग एंड वी आर सेइंग दैट वी आर डूइंग, बट स्टिल नॉट देयर. अभी एआई समिट हुआ था जहां पे वी हैव नॉट सोन आवर स्ट्रेंथ. 99% ऑफ द कंपनीज दे आर जस्ट रैपर्स जो हमको बना रहे हैं. तो मुझे लगता है as an institute also now we should, instead of telling कि तुम AI से एप्लीकेशन बना लो उसको खुश, मुझे लगता है सर हमको थोड़ा सा अपने स्टूडेंट्स का ना थोड़ा स्ट्रांग होना पड़ेगा. We always like कि पीठ थपथपा देते हैं,
कॉपी द वेस्ट,
तुम कुछ कर ले, कॉपी द वेस्ट, और अगर कुछ भी वो कर लेते हैं ना, एआई का एप्लीकेशन आज बना के आ जाता है, हम खुश होकर उसको बोलते हैं कि वाह क्या काम किया है तुमने। बट आई थिंक इससे कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो रही है। आई थिंक वी शुड टेक द रियल प्रॉब्लम्स इन हैंड, टीच देम इन डेप्थ की क्या चाहिए। और ये एग्जैक्टली सर, when we got a chance to work with your institute,
I completely agree
जी,
with you. I completely agree
जी,
with you. In fact, these are the views that I was going to express, but you've already expressed
जी,
them. So
जी,
go on. I would like to also listen
जी,
that how we can add value
जी,
and
तो
working
सर
with each other.
exactly sir,
Yeah,
so we felt universities are doing phenomenal jobs sir, and with the
Right.
vision of yours and the university that you have built,
Right.
we definitely wanted to leverage that and tank on the top of it.
Sure,
But
sure.
then we realized that there are few things that we have learned because we are present in the multiple part of the world.
Correct,
I have myself stayed in the Silicon Valley for a quite
Right,
long time,
right,
and I
right.
normally say that I want to build the best of both the worlds for the students,
Sure.
where they get the best of the university, the
Right.
ecosystem, the
Right.
UGC compliance,
Correct.
the discipline, the rigor, the
Right.
environment life.
Yeah.
And then on the top of it, can I build that Silicon Valley vibe in the campus itself,
Right.
where they are taught by the best industry experts.
Correct.
I want my students who are coming out of this ADY PU
Right,
campus to
right.
be those 2% of the techies,
Right.
जो सिर्फ उनके ओपन एआई को कॉल करके रैपर्स नहीं बना रहे हैं, वो खुद
The
का
critical thinkers.
वो क्या खुद का बना सकते हैं वो मॉडल, एंड व्हाई नॉट। आई थिंक यहाँ के इंजीनियर्स वहाँ पे जाके ओपन एआई में काम कर रहे हैं,
बिल्कुल।
यहाँ के इंजीनियर सुंदर पिचाई हमारे इंडिया के ही हैं और वहाँ पे
सारे टॉप लोग।
तो why not we do that? And I think with the open mindset and support of yours, I think that's the vision that we are headed towards in the upgrad school of tech, कि ये top 1% techies, top 2% of the techies of the world को अगर हम बनाएंगे, and I believe this is the last opportunity sir, because ये अगर निकल गया, we are heading towards AGI,
we are lost.
we are lost. So I think this is a great opportunity, और जो सपोर्ट सर आपने हमारे ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाया है, आई थिंक इट्स अ टाइम टू गिव द बेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लर्निंग, इंजीनियरिंग. Go to the depth, go to the core, and make sure that building those top 1%, 2% techies of the world.
I'm looking forward to that. So it's a big challenge. So we have a lot to deliver, and I'm really looking forward to that. But we'll do it.
100%, sir. We'll do it.
I think our visions match, passions match, abilities match, and I think combining the talent, resources, the thought processes, because you need people to think out of the box to do something like that. And that's the reason I think we are partnering also, because you all think so strategically in terms of creating a talent pool which is unique. And in the future, when just normal engineers are coming out, normal graduates are coming out, there will be a differentiation that what is the quality of that talent. And when you're talking about that 1%, 2%, at least I want to be part of that process. So happy to hear all your views on this.
Glad, sir. And sir, that's the need of the hour actually. If I just quote some facts, 2026 में I was just reading yesterday, 85% of the engineers passing out, they don't have any relevant jobs. यानी वो उसको मैं नहीं कह सकता हूँ कि वो इंजीनियरिंग की जॉब मिली है उसको. 85% of the engineers. And most of the time, at the same time, when you go to the companies and corporates, they're saying we are not getting the right talent. यानी 25 लाख लोग इंजीनियर्स निकल रहे हैं, 85% को जॉब नहीं मिल रही, और कंपनीज भी यही रोना गा रही है कि हमें अच्छे टैलेंट नहीं मिल पाते. There is a huge gap.
It's unfortunate.
And it's very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
And we are at such a juncture वहाँ पे jobs तो एक फैक्टर है, because of the AI, solopreneurs भी अभी जाके काफी लोग बनने वाले हैं. पहले ये होता था सर कि ये कंपनी खोलनी है तो आपको खूब सारा इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट चाहिए, खूब सारे लोग चाहिए, 100 लोगों की टीम होगी, देन एक कंपनी फॉर्म होगा. आई थिंक ऑल थैंक्स टू एआई आज के डेट में आप एक या दो लोगों की टीम कैन मेक अ कंपनी ऑफ द बिलियंस. तो एक और वेव जिस तरीके से हम हेड कर रहे हैं कंट्री में आजकल सर, वो है अराउंड द स्टार्टअप्स. मैं थोड़ा सा आपसे रिलेट करूंगा एंड देन विल, और ये चूंकि हमने आपके जर्नी से थोड़ा सा इंस्पायर लिया, एंड दैट्स हाउ वी मेक आवर स्टूडेंट टू बी लाइक यू. सर, आई हैव सीन दैट यू आर अ एजुकेशनिस्ट. आप आपकी फिल्म कंपनी भी है, आप मेडिकल में हॉस्पिटल्स में काफ़ी सारा काम कर रहे हैं, आप यूएई में यू आर डूइंग लॉट ऑफ वर्क देयर, सो यू रन अ डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ. So how do you want yourself to be called as? More of like an educationist, or you want to be called as an entrepreneur, and why?
So I don't know what I want to be called as. Probably my father's son. But some beautiful moments and feelings come when you come across your students and your children. So when you go across the world, whether they're in the hotel management, whether they're in hotels, whether they're in tech companies, so whether they're in the hospitals, the doctors, and they come across you and they, like the student we met just now, that gives you a sense of, you know, a sense of achievement, a sense of purpose, and a sense of satisfaction. So I don't know if I want to be called something or remembered something, but it's for my own satisfaction that I could do some meaningful work for these children who are creating a difference in the world. So, and I'm sure these students or children who go out in the real world would be equally emotive about what we created. So that bond of emotions of every child graduating out of my university should feel that, okay, this is a university that gave me the talent, this is the university that made my life, this is the university that gave me that opportunity.
Right.
So the satisfaction in that student as well, not only within me, because sometimes the student achieves success without the institution also. But I want the institution to be part of that success. So once that bridge is gapped, I would like to be remembered like that, especially by my alumni and my children.
Right. Yeah. So learning from your perspective itself, sir, हम भी चाहते हैं कि हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं स्कूल ऑफ टेक में स्पेसिफिकली एडमिशन लेंगे इस बार, ऑलरेडी काफ़ी लोग ले चुके हैं, they should all have a dynamic multiple faces to their academic career, just like what you have. Right. So every student who comes, we are looking for 3 tangible outcomes, sir. One definitely is a job.
Right.
Because we are a developing country, and if I say that, hey, I want to start comparing myself to the US, they have different problem statements. They are developed, their basic livings are all sorted. वहाँ पे कोई इंजीनियरिंग सिर्फ जॉब्स के लिए नहीं करता होगा, पर हमें करना पड़ता है, एंड वी हैव टू बी वेरी प्रैक्टिकल ऑन इट. सो वन डेफिनेटली इज द हाई लेवल, यू नो, जॉब्स. दूसरा इज अराउंड द स्टार्टअप, वेयर आई, बिकॉज यू आर ऑन दिस कैमरा, सो आई वुड लाइक टू take your permission that we are planning to teach our BTech students. Right. I'm saying that why you have to spend after 4 years 2 more years in the management. This is a high pace world. We'll teach you while you're learning the BTech itself. So now you will get a BTech degree from ADY Patil. At the same time, we'll also teach you how the startups are developed.
Right.
And for which I have someone, Ronnie himself has said that, you know, he will come and mentor students.
Sure.
We also have a plan if the student does well for the 4 years. And he has the right idea, the way he invests into the company like anyone, we are going to give the no limit seed funding to the students. Whether it's 5 lakh, 50 lakhs or 5 crore, will go all out and help the student with the seed funding.
I'm so happy to hear
so
this.
We are going to do that. But one help that I need, I also would love to bring you, sir, to talk to our students. I know that you're very busy, but whenever you are in the campus,
like I said, a busy man is not busy for anyone.
So I definitely would like you to talk to these folks, and also if they build something tangible, I would also like you to look at them at the same lens.
Right.
If you have to invest in some company.
So I'll add to that. Of course, we'll be happy to invest. We are setting up a whole innovation and incubator base within the campus. Work is already going on. We've actioned this about a year and a half ago, and it's slowly maturing. It's still in its infancy. But for what you're saying, there could again be a lot of synergies. Because given your backup, you know, your network, the mentors that you can bring in, I think it will be a win-win, because there's something very high on our agenda. So the incubation hub that we are setting up has to be activated. I'm happy to tell you that we've received more than 80 incubation ideas till date. So our teams are now evaluating. We've set up a network of mentors. So that's also at quite an advanced level. So if you share what you're doing, I think we can combine this. And in fact, I was on the lookout for people who can facilitate and help us with this. So this is something that has to come in the campus. Because let there be unicorns coming out of the campus. Let there be real success stories coming out of the campus. My experiences overseas also, I've seen live projects we are working on. So we get real life experiences. Whether it's dealing in real stock markets. You know, they have simulations and they make you earn. So I think that practical aspect of learning has to come. And if you give them a business entrepreneurial mindset, you will see a lot of innovations coming out of universities. And when you spoke about funding, unlimited, that's a word I liked. So we still have a cap. I can't go there because I don't have access to that kind of funding. But with partners like you, we can create wonders. And there are some fascinating projects that are there in the university, whether they are based on helping the environment, in healthcare, in edtech. So there's some fantastic talent in the universities, and this has to be channelized. So let's create that ecosystem for these children, work together, and make sure that at least in the next 3 to 5 years we have a unicorn coming out of our university.
100%, 100%, sir. That definitely is on the radar. And sir, I was also thinking, apart from the university itself, if you can do something on a larger scale, right? And maybe, we are just talking, we might not put that on the podcast. Sir, I was also thinking that we can do something for the Maharashtra, right? Something like AI for all. And let's say that where Dr. Ajeenkya is running a program with Upgrad, where he is ensuring that everyone in the Maharashtra is becoming AI literate.
Right.
And we don't want to make much money out of it.
Right.
But we really want to create more
literacy.
impact,
Right.
legacy,
Right.
and also maybe like a distribution. I'm a big fan of ideas like Meta or Instagram, right? They make the platform free.
Correct.
And when everyone is on the platform, then you have 100 ways of making money out of it. It's still giving the service to the people. So when you make a distribution, let's say that we build an AI course for all, AI for all, which is very affordable, and we mandated that every university student, every school student, they have to study it.
Correct.
And then everybody knows about it, and then everybody knows the brand also. So they are getting benefited, and then it creates the distribution. I think that's a big impact. And I think it will be a help in the direction of the vision that you think of really creating, because then everybody knows about the AI, then everybody uses it right. And when everybody uses it right, then they use AI for their advantage. Else, the knowing ones takes the advantage, or unknown ones might not be able to leverage that.
Correct.
So I think that's something, again, sir, I'd like to seed in your mind that if you have some thoughts, I'm all game.
I have.
And we should do this, sir.
I already have, because I always speak about democratization of education. So education should not be controlled by few elite, for the elite, by the elite. And democratizing this is very important. And what you spoke about is exactly in that direction. Because a larger mass should have access to this education. And by these concepts, with the use of technology, with the way AI is evolving, we would be in a position to offer this to a large spectrum of society.
Exactly.
Of course, you would need government support.
And that's why, sir, I needed your support, because you are in a position who can help me enable this. So we could be that engine, but typically you can provide that ecosystem to.
So I would be excited. I would be excited to look at it.
So we can do something for the entire Maharashtra, and if this model works here, why don't we do it for the entire India? Where everyone becomes, I think today AI is important right from the school itself. People, when they don't know AI, they mistakenly use it in the wrong ways. So I think that's the vision that I drive myself for, and something support if you get me.
90s se ideas.
So I think we should definitely then work it out.
We were talking about putting ISDN lines in every temple. And we want to put video conferencing units. And teachers would teach in the 90s. So about 5-10 students in the villages could come together, because they don't have access to infrastructure. But now with tech we can do it. So
perfect, sir. So now I'd like to take few predictions from you. Being in this education system for so long.
I'm not astrologer. But I'll try.
Okay, some logical hypothesis, guesstimation, rather than prediction. How do you see the Indian universities evolve 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and say like 50 years down the line?
5 years down the line, I think we'll be pretty similar to what trajectory we have currently. So it'll be a good run for the next 5 years. In 5 to 10 years, I see a lot of disruption in the way teaching is done, in the way education is offered. And also I see confusion in the mind of the students and society at large. Because they may feel the need for a university, they may not feel the need for a university. I'll get into 1, 2, 3 again. Going to the 50-year plan, it's difficult to predict, because education, the way it exists today, may not exist. Maybe you may not need what you need to do. So I don't see education in the form that it is today, because with virtual reality, AR, VR, there's so much technology emerging. You could be surrounded in the virtual world taking that education. We have a AR, VR IP as well, and we have a property which is doing that. So we have a AR, VR school. So you can click a button and you can be in any geography. So if you want to be in parts of Europe, you can be there. You can be in America. So that's very infant again. So this technology in 50 years, you could, I don't know if teleportation will happen. So the teachers will come teach you at your own pace, and teaching will be completely different. So I see a very different world after 50 years. Mostly robots will take over, everything will be automatic, and humans will mostly be relaxing. They will be relaxing and letting the machines do their work. And they'll be, like I talk about this utopian world. So that utopian world, so education is too narrow a
But
subject.
then, in purpose of life will be
Yeah,
left.
so
if
now
you are
I'll come back to
sleeping.
I'll come back to 1 and 2.
जी.
So when that confusion happens, my counsel to the students would be that वो एक ख्याल आएगा कि हम डिग्री लेके करें क्या, डिग्री लेके हमें जॉब्स नहीं मिल रहे, आगे ये एआई होगा, they'll throw us out, tech companies are growing strong. So the resilience in that child has to be there at that time, both in the children as well as the parents.
Okay.
Because they know that this is a sort of space of confusion, where if they overcome that, then they'll be able to take to the next step. Now I'll give you an example. Now they'll say हम पढ़ के क्या करें, कोडिंग तो एआई कर रहा है, तो कोड हम सीखे क्यों, तो कोडिंग एआई कर रहा है. लेटर राइटिंग हम क्यों करें, बिकॉज एआई कर रहा है. टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट हम लिखना भूल गए, बिकॉज वी आर टाइपिंग, सो आवर स्किल्स ऑफ राइटिंग आर गोइंग. So one by one we are changing as a species also. So today if you ask me to write say 20 pages, I may struggle because I can type faster. So our skills as humans are changing. But what happens if tomorrow the tech is not available to companies? Then I will say हाँ भाई आप आइए इंजीनियर. वो बोलेगा मुझे लिखना ही नहीं आता, मुझे सोचना ही नहीं आता, मुझे कोडिंग ही नहीं करना नहीं आता है. Then what happens? Another issue is if the companies start charging very high subscription rates, which are higher than what the humans would charge, then what do you do? That's also another
exactly happening today, sir.
so that's also another possibility. So don't ever think that you'll be redundant. You may be redundant in the short term, but the human capital will always remain. I'm talking of the short term. I'm not talking of a 50-year trajectory. After 50 years, things will be different. Probably there'll be no governments. There'll be only AI running the whole entire society. Automatic cars, flying cars, rockets going to Mars, and we'll be in a very different, like how we saw in the movies, that kind of a. But I feel that we have to maintain our skills. Also, our social skills are dying. We have 1,000 friends on Instagram. We have 10,000 on Facebook. So many followers. But अपने दोस्त कितने हैं?
True.
हम बैठ के गपशप कब करते हैं, बातचीत कब करते हैं. Our social skills also. So to maintain social skills in the future, after 10 years, this is what I'm feeling. Universities will become centers of gatherings. जहाँ बच्चे आके खेलेंगे, कूदेंगे, एक दूसरे से बात करेंगे, स्पोर्ट्स करेंगे. So I don't know whether they'll come for degrees, but they'll come for the experience. So universities will exist in a form where there'll be social gatherings, not for the exact degrees that they'll come for. Because degree you could get at home. Degree may be given to you through tech. And we'll say नहीं कौन पढ़ेगा घर पे, जाना ही पड़ेगा स्कूल पे. But the child who's born today is born with a phone. Without a phone, he doesn't know what the world is.
True.
The child who's born after 5 years will be born with a VR goggle. Without a VR goggle, he'll know not what the world is.
Correct.
So you're like a fish in a pond. So the fish knows only the pond, unless you put the fish in the ocean. We have to make sure that the ocean is visible till then. We should not narrow down our funnel so much that we forget our basic skills. And that's the real challenge. So when I speak of legislation, that's something that needs to be ahead of tech. Especially in my country. I'm not talking of the West. In the West, the populations are declining. In Japan, there's an aging population. In Europe, there's an aging population. So machines will replicate the jobs of humans, which was very convenient for them. They'll not complain. They'll work 24/7. So it's perfect. But in my country, I have so many people. So what do I do with this talent? So we have to think as a country, as a population, whether will we become the manpower of the world. Again, it's funneling manpower, but tech will not allow you to do it. So you have to think of it on a very serious basis. And I'm not even talking of 20 years. I'm talking now 5 to 10 years. So this is how I think. So my counsel to children, my counsel to parents will be skills मत छोड़िए. आपको आज लग रहा है सब होशियार लग रहे हैं, चैट जीपीटी यूज कर रहे हैं, क्लाउड यूज कर रहे हैं, सबकी अंग्रेजी बहुत बेहतरीन हो गई है, बट दैट इज नॉट देयर स्किल. नो दैट वेयर इज योर
सडनली से मेरे ऑफिस में सबकी अंग्रेजी अच्छी हो गई, ये सब बेहतरीन ईमेल लिख रहे हैं.
अच्छी बात है, बट माय बेसिक थिंग इज डोंट गिव अप योर बेसिक स्किल्स ऑफ एनालिटिकल थिंकिंग. सो आई थिंक वी हैव टू वर्क एज अ टीम टू मेक श्योर दैट व्हाट वी अश्योर टू आवर स्टेक होल्डर्स वी आर केपेबल ऑफ एंड अचीवेबल. So that's something, because I think transparency has to be maintained in terms of the students coming in, what
Yeah.
the expectations are,
Yeah.
at what because we don't want to show the moon and then portray something else.
Yeah.
This is A, this is B, this is C. So one thing I like is clarity. So when a child comes in, a parent comes in, he should be clear what the expectations are.
Yeah.
Because if the expectations are higher than the perception, it becomes a problem.
जी.
So that's something that I tell this to my marketing team as well.
Yeah.
कि आप बेचने के लिए आप बेचते हैं, student will come in also. But we should then live up to those expectations, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a good product,
जी.
if you don't deliver properly, it will fail at some point.
जी.
So a product or a sort of a system will only evolve if it continuously keeps developing, evolving, and sticks to the promises that it makes to its stakeholders. So I would like to be very transparent in terms of that. That's something which I'm very sensitive about.
Very nice, sir.
Right,
I think,
right.
and we are, as a company, we are 200% aligned on it.
Right.
So I'll tell you very candidly, this is a space that we have been looking for a couple of years.
Right.
And there was reason that we waited and we didn't jump on a couple of years back itself. Because we felt that we have to be fully ready for it.
Right. I interrupt you. I saw your interview and I was very impressed with the way you spoke, especially when you spoke about placements. And you gave the example of, I don't want to elaborate, but I think that's the reality, not to some say. And we don't want a system like that. We want a real system जहाँ पे spontaneous कुछ, some enthusiasm is there and talent is there, and so कुछ हट के काम करना है.
बिल्कुल सर. उसी लाइन पे से मैं ये कह रहा था कि सर आज की डेट में एडमिशन कर लेना इज नो डिफरेंट, नो बिग गेम. बिकॉज वेबसाइट पे आप कुछ भी लिख सकते हो. उसके लिए आपको एक मार्केटिंग टीम का बंदा चाहिए होता है, क्लाउड का सब्सक्रिप्शन चाहिए होता है, एंड यू जस्ट पुट गुड लाइंस एंड थिंग्स लुक्स रोजी ऑन वेबसाइट एंड द ब्रोचर्स. At Upgrad, we have been working towards that. What we'll do in those 4 years? How will we give the student an outcome?
Correct.
For that, we have to get the best people from the industry, get those people who are paid in crores, get on our payroll so that they come in the classroom and they teach. Build that ecosystem which enables students to get the jobs. Just saying कि हम आपको अच्छा से पढ़ाएंगे और आपको internship लग जाएगी. It's very competitive and everyone is saying. And that's why, sir, we acquired a company purposefully, Internshala, 3 months back. It's now Upgrad Group company. Every internship is a paid internship that we'll give to the students. No concept of unpaid internship, and student will have access to day zero itself. We have a company called as Recruit. Ronnie has his own investment firm, and he is very fascinated about running the startup thing. He wants to mentor himself to the students, and also
he's a visionary himself.
And also all the ecosystem that he brings together. Last but not the least, we are working with almost all the IITs also. We are working with a lot of foreign universities. So we'll try to bring that research culture also in-house. And if let's say किसी student को 6 महीने US में जाके pathway program करना है या सिंगापुर में करना है,
जरूरी है.
We have that ecosystem built in. और
But engage with the IITs.
जी.
Engage with the IITs.
Sir, अभी हमने हाल ही फिलहाल में IIT खड़गपुर के साथ we are doing a lot of work. We are also running their online degree programs. So we are working with a lot of IITs, IIC, Triple IT Bangalore के साथ हमारा काफी longest running program चल रहा है. तो एक complete ecosystem पे हम काम कर रहे थे, and we feel today we are well set. And as you rightly said, and this is the conversation that I have with Ronnie all the time. He also of the same opinion कि आप कम बोल के ज़्यादा deliver करिए. Instead of over commit and then you deliver less. So we are fully committed on that, and every students who come in will try to make sure that they have the best. And since it is going to be our first batch this time, we'll do everything under this roof to do this.
You asked me, what drove me to differentiate. All that you just said, now you summarized. This is exactly what I was aspiring for. This change, the way the education is done, how you'll get involved. So I think there's a lot of learning we'll also get from your association. And it'll be a win-win for the students and everyone. So fantastic. I'm looking forward to this, and Godspeed to this venture.
100%. So one more thing, and I'd like to hear your perspective, and then we close it. So many of times when you're talking to the students, they have this one question. This is the first batch of yours.
Right.
That's number one. To which my answer and your perspective also I'll take it. To which I say that I think that's the biggest advantage, that is the first batch. Because first batch is always
perfect.
Always most important. So this is the first time, and I would like to hear your thoughts that how confident you are in the Upgrad school, because that let's.
No, we are very confident, because when I interacted with Ronnie also, I think minds have to meet.
जी
So it's just not a business deal or you're doing some arrangements to
जी
make money, or
जी
money is needed to run the organization. I'm not against making money, but end of the day, that talent pool that we are creating for the nation and for the globe is something that's very important.
yeah
And our thoughts match. That's the most important thing.
जी
So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to.
perfect sir thank you thanks for your time I think it was wonderful discussion I think a lot of learnings really helpful and we'll make sure sir that everything that I committed to you we deliver on it and we'll keep a regular we'll keep on sending you the regular updates
बहुत बहुत करना है अभी बहुत
काफी कुछ करना है सर lot of things yeah but we'll do it
होगा
sir.
होगा ये होगा
जी सर